My decision making and my judgment of things, I'm hard as a rock. I listen hard and then I decide. And you cannot change me once I decide.
Do you think that's necessary to have the success that you've had, especially for women?
No, I think there are different styles, but I think there's no room for emotion if you're a woman, especially in business. The minute I had a manager once in a while who would cry over just having a bad day, because we all have bad days, she was marked. I never trusted her with more responsibility again.
Really?
Yeah, I never did. I never forgot, because I thought, you can't cry in business. You just can't cry.
This episode is brought to you by Boost Mobile. Today's guest is a woman who turned a $1,000 loan into a $66 million empire, and she built one of the most recognizable brands in business. We're talking today about reinvention, confidence, aging, maybe fuck you money. I would like to discuss that. And also starting over at any age. The amazing Barbara Corcoran is here today. Hi, Barbara.
Nice to be here.
Nice to have you.
A little scared, but good to be here.
You're scared?
Of you?
Why?
You're a force.
Stop.
Come on.
Stop.
You're a truth serum.
You think so?
Definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that's a compliment, I think.
It is. It's intended that way, but don't use it on me.
I won't. Thank you so much. No, I'm excited. I think I want to learn a lot of things. I have a very interesting relationship with money, and I would love to just pick your brain about how you navigate those
You got
waters.
the wrong person, but go ahead.
Why? How could?
Because I have a difficult relationship with money. I always feel poor. I was born poor. I was happy poor. Poor is not bad in my mind at all. I could be poor again, I think, and be happy again.
Really?
So, but I'm always thinking that's really who I am, and any money is just temporary.
Yeah, but the fact that you still feel poor. Were you poor ever? Like really poor by definition, poor?
We weren't poor, but we were lower than middle class. We ate, thank God. We had 10 kids in a 2-bedroom house, and my dad had 2 jobs, so we were struggling. But we never really felt poor as children, you know?
Yeah. You had your family.
Yeah, we had wonderful mother and father.
You had food on your table.
Yeah, that's what counts. The love is most important.
So when I hear that story about you over and over again about this $1,000 loan and starting this company, who were you at that time? Where were you in your life, and where were you with money?
I was in a good place in my life. I was 23 and I was working as a diner waitress, and a guy came in and became my boyfriend. And he offered me $1,000
at the
to start
diner.
a business.
Were you cute? Like, were you like?
Hold on.
Were you like sexy waitress? Like, what was? Were you like?
I was anything but sexy. That's better. There's my voice.
There it is.
I was anything but sexy. I was competing with a sexy waitress who had giant breasts, and she would balance coffee cups on her breasts. So nobody wanted to really sit at my counter unless they were in a real rush, and then I'd have a seat.
Stop.
But I did tie ribbons on my pigtails and remain cute and remain myself, because it was my mother's advice. And as a result of that, a guy sat at my counter because he liked my type. And he asked me out, and that was the beginning of my career. I left the diner a week later, took a week's vacation, and moved to New York City.
With the guy?
No, not with the guy. He paid for I was too pure, really. I was waiting for somebody to be my lover. It was coming late. But he paid for a week in the Barbizon Hotel for me, and that was my start in New York City.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you came to New York for a week.
Yes.
And then what do you do? What does one do? Is even now in 2025, you think about $1,000.
Yeah.
Does that feel like this is great, or do you feel like this little bit of money? Like, how does
It didn't seem like a little bit of money at all at the time. I felt like I hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
$1,000 then was like the equivalent of somebody giving you $20,000 today.
Yeah.
So I had all this money to start a business with. It was like a magical happening. And why did it fall on me? Just because I met the right boyfriend?
Yeah.
He found me, took me out of my town, took me to New York. I feel like I was in the lottery the whole way. I mean, it was miraculous what happened.
Why do you think? What did he see in you?
What do you think he saw in me? He saw a virgin, which I was, and he was 10 years older, and he wanted to be my boyfriend.
And you were like, "Give me that bread. Let me."
I wanted that bread.
That's really funny.
My mother accused me of being a prostitute, which really wasn't
Oh,
true.
no,
Yeah.
Mom.
She was crazy, but anyway.
But you got your money.
Yeah, I got my money and
then
I
what-
started the business.
And then were you serious about the money? Was this like an
I
opportunity
was
for you?
dead serious about the
Yeah,
money.
tell me about
I
that.
knew what the $1,000 would buy. It would buy me 12 weeks in business. I could put an ad in the New York Times once a week for 12 weeks. I could pay my cab fares because you had to take customers around in cabs. I could pay for the office.
And you're
pay
showing properties. Is that what you
all day long, just open doors. It wasn't even like working. It was like having fun. Hey, how you doing? Come on in. Hey, how you doing? Come on in. It was great. It was just, I just knew I was in the right business from the first day. It was terrific. And I had money to last 12 weeks. And I was able to rent my first apartment on the third week, and that replenished my supply. I had another $340.
You put all your money back in?
Right back in,
Yeah.
$340. So now I was down 100, but up 340, and that's what I did. I did for the next 20 years.
Next 20 years. And then
Yeah.
you sell it at what age?
I was about 45 or so, I guess.
You sell
yeah.
the company for $66 million.
Yeah, they wanted to pay me $22 million, but I told them I had to get 66. Thank God I stuck with my guts.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So you're thinking about upgrading to the all-new iPhone 17 Pro, designed to be the most powerful iPhone ever. But are you also thinking about the traffic on your way to the store or transferring all your data and all the time that takes? Well, the good news is that when you order a brand new phone online with Boost Mobile, they'll send an expert to your home or to your work to deliver your brand new iPhone 17 Pro and get you all set up. Boost Mobile can do that within minutes, no hassle. All you got to do is visit boostmobile.com to get started. Delivery available for select devices purchased at boostmobile.com. Terms apply. Do you ever have moments that it's still surreal to you, or is that all the time?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Sometimes in a moment of luxury, when I realize my children are well, that my whole family around me has benefited from my wealth, I just sit there and I think, God, pinch me. How could this really have happened to me? I sometimes almost mistrust that it's true,
Yeah.
as weird as that is,
Yeah.
because it seems like such a constant lineup of happenstance that just marched in my way and I took advantage of.
Yeah.
And I was able to build something good that I never expected. Not that I didn't have expectations as a kid that I would be somebody great or somebody successful or somebody at least happy. I always felt I would be entitled to be happy like my mother and dad were happy, but I never expected money would be part of the equation. And I think that's why I've never really gotten comfortable with money. But I'm curious your attitude
I
toward
have
money.
so many questions about that. But
Yeah.
while we're in this little season of your life, I just want to know, so does the boyfriend then feel entitled? He watches you on this journey. Imagine if you broke up at some point, right?
Well, no, he was my business partner as well. He took 51% of the business.
When you sold it when you sold it.
When I sold it, he was already a 51% partner.
51.
But it wasn't as though I left him. He left me for my secretary and told me to take my time moving out while I was out of there in the moment, as you would be too.
Yeah.
And I started the Corcoran Group because that was my first little business. And it lasted 7 years until he married my secretary. And then I went on to start the Corcoran Group.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I wondered navigating that change of life and change of financial status, how you manage that with people. Because people change and your life changes and how you operate through the world changes.
It really is a challenge. I judge friendships. It changes relationships. Clearly, if you have money, it changes relationships. It changes your relationship with your siblings. You don't want it to. I have my siblings, they want nothing from me, and we're all still close.
You're so lucky.
But it's still different. I'm seen as different than them. It changes my relationship with new friendships. You wonder what they're after.
Yeah.
It changes my relationship with dating. You wonder what this guy really wants, It does. It makes you have to stop along the way and pause and say, let me be careful here. And that's a shame that you can't take things on face value.
Yeah.
Because I very much am a person that takes things on face value my whole life.
Yeah.
So it conflicts with it in a real way.
I totally understand that. I have a couple of friends that are far wealthier than me.
You're always aware they're wealthy.
And I'm always aware they're wealthy. And I always treat them. I also have friends that are way more famous than me.
Yes.
And it's almost the same situation.
Exactly.
As a friend, I want to sometimes protect these people because I see all the sharks circling, and if you actually are a good person, you have to have boundaries up, and you have to be careful how you navigate those waters.
But it's nice that you feel that way about your friends, that you want to protect them. My good friends protect me.
Yeah.
They're much more critical of new friendships and who comes into my life than I would ever be.
Really?
They're quick to speak up. It's almost like I'm their territory.
Yeah. That's good. That means you chose well.
Yeah.
But I would think you'd be really good at boundaries. And
am I good at boundaries? Not really.
Really?
I'm not good at saying no. If you ask me for money today, I will give it to you without a doubt. So how much do you want?
Well, I do have 2 ideas. So if you wanted to come in on that, you have a whole opportunity to give people money. You did that for years on television.
Yeah. But you know, a funny thing, Damon John, who's my good friend.
I know Damon very
with him.
well. Yeah,
Damon's
of
a
course.
sweetheart. He gave me the best advice. When I first sold my business, he said to me, you'll find everybody has a $10,000 problem. And he was right. And the best move I ever made, actually, when I sold my business after I gave away many 10,000s, is my accountant said, tell them to talk to me. And if it's okay with me, of course you can invest. He never okayed anything.
That's a perfect boundary.
He was a bad guy. I
he's
had
a
to
bad
create my boundary through other people. I don't have it on myself because I could always empathize with the other person's position more than I could see my own.
Wow.
And so always my answer is yes, of course, yes.
Yeah.
Of course, yes.
Back to the relationship with money thing. I think people probably struggle with this all the time. For me, I was never educated properly on how to use it, how to spend it, how to save it, what to do. So I always feel insecure about it. So if something happens and I make a surprising amount of money,
the worst.
What was that?
I mean, if something goes wrong, you think the worst.
I think the worst, but I'm also scared of it, and I don't. I blow it. I don't strategize probably well with it.
Well, you seem like you lack confidence more than anything else. I bet you're a lot better than you think you are.
You think so?
I think so. Most people are a lot better than they think they are at everything. And I think this is one you ought to look at anew and wonder really how good you are at it. You didn't get to where you were without being good at it. You just don't do it.
Also, now I feel like there's so much information at every turn. It's like dieting or wellness. There's 75,000 different ways to get to be healthy.
Yeah,
but it's the same thing with money.
One thing. Always, all of that has self-help stuff. Doesn't include anything called your own intuition, trusting your own intuition and it feeling right or feeling wrong to you. I think that's the big card that's overlooked.
Is the intuition.
And I'm sure you're using your intuition when you're managing your money, whether you want to admit it or not. Well, give me your money. I'm going to manage it for you.
You will? You have time for this?
I'll probably lose it.
You have time for this? I would trust in you.
I'll give it to my accountant. I'll keep it.
I would actually totally give it to you. But to me, the thing about, I wish to get to a place, and I'm sure many people feel this way. You wish to get to fuck your money. You wish to get to that. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You don't have to, you can, if you want to travel, you can travel. If you want to do this, you can do, I guess just the freedom of what money brings people.
Yes, I would like to get there too.
This to me sounds crazy to me, Barbara, that you don't feel you got to that point.
No, I almost feel like if I plan, like I went to the Cayman Islands spontaneously with one of my sisters, and I was feeling very badly about going, thinking I shouldn't be spending this money so wildly. It's kind of irresponsible. I had been working like a dog for 10 weeks. I was desperate for vacation. Yeah. So it's crazy, but I have not felt comfortable spending a lot of money on extemporaneous things that are luxurious.
Are you not like a material girl? Do you not like shopping and things?
I hate to shop. I have my few outfits that look good.
You wear that?
I have my few rooms that look good, really good.
Yeah.
But I will spend a hell of a lot of money on my garden, which I incessantly love.
Yeah.
Anything I could get my hands into, I love.
That's great.
And also my home looks just absolutely beautiful. And I do, you know what? I am extravagant. I forgot. Whenever I see a home that I love, when it's twice as much as I could afford, I buy it anyway.
Because you love it.
And I know I'll get the money back. You see, I realize after I finish using the home and I move on, I'll get all that money back. So for that, I don't have to justify it because I think it's a good investment, you see. And it is a good investment because I buy smartly. I always buy the best. And I always get the most money when I sell.
Hey guys, today's show is brought to you by Hard Rock Bet. Hard Rock Bet is a sportsbook app, and it's a really simple sportsbook app if you just want to see what everyone's talking about, or if you don't even really care about the game, but you want to make it a little more interesting. You could just bet $1 or $2, very easy. And one Hard Rock Bet player last week turned a $3 bet into over $29,000 in winnings. And if you want to see more wins like that, or you just want to see what I'm talking about, you can follow at Hard Rock Bet on social. Football season is still going, so if you want to try your first bet on Hard Rock Bet, you can get $150 bonus bets if you win. Just place a $5 bet, and if that hits, you get not only your winnings, but you get $150 in extra bonus bets. And since it's Wednesday, if you're already betting on Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook app, you know what that means. It's the last day to use your legendary reward drops. Open up the app today and you can have a bonus bet, or who knows what's in there, all kinds of stuff. And it's always a nice surprise. So new rewards drop tomorrow. Don't miss out. Head over to the Hard Rock Bet app and make your deposit. What is the best, when you were starting, what was the best advice anybody gave to you about money or starting? Especially, I'm sure the sharks were circling early when
The worst advice was my mother when I was really first starting.
Yeah.
She said, why don't you hold a good job for a few years? You're always hopping around, and get a good resume going. When I told her I was going to start my business, definitely the wrong advice to wait. You have to, when you have the business idea, you have to hop on it while it's hot, right away before you figure it all out. Because most people who don't start a business, sadly, is they have to get it right. You don't really have to get it right. You just have to get the thing going, So that was the worst advice. The best advice I got on the other side was from my boyfriend. I hate to give him credit, but when I was leaving him the day I divided the business in half, he said to me, "You'll never succeed without me." And that was the best advice I ever got, because he put a bone in my back that I would rather kill than not succeed and let him watch me. I was like, what? And every time I went up bumps and downs, as business is, you have your highs and your lows all the time. It's a roller coaster ride. I would think of his words when I was ready to give up and say, son of a bitch, I'm not going to give up.
Good for you.
Just because I thought of his words. So inadvertently, he gave me the best advice for success when he wasn't intending it that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is, because business and relationships, or starting businesses with your, especially romantic partners, spouses, can be super challenging.
It's a challenge for any woman making a lot of money. It's the hardest challenge is a relationship, I believe. I know many women that are great breadwinners, and they have difficulty with their spouses who are not. And same with me. I've been married twice. I was the breadwinner the first time. My husband quit his job on a month after we were married and never worked again.
Wow.
I divorced him 7 years later, and then I married my husband, who was so active, I didn't think I could keep up with him. I thought, finally, I met a guy who's going to outpace me. And then he resigned from everything, and he was a stay-at-home guy. So it was very, very hard for me. And it really shifts power in a relationship. And that's why it's so terribly dangerous, I think, because it really does a number on the whole relationship. Money, again, affecting everything, really.
Is there a trick to making, you've made this marriage work, and you...
Well, I've made marriage work because of my sheer determination and dedication. First of all, my husband, Bill, I love dearly. So that makes it a lot easier when you really start out really loving somebody.
Pick well, right?
Yeah, it serves you for a long time. But what I think I have done very well with my relationship is tolerance. And also reality check, like what Bill is what you get. And I spent the first 3 or 4 years trying to change him until I realized you can't change a guy. You just can't change him. You got to either accept him or move on. And so I practiced my acceptance. And the things that drive me nuts still drive me nuts, but I go, That's all I say.
It's easier to, acceptance is easier when you actually like, or when you really love someone. Yeah. And I think that's easier. We talk about that here a lot, about the difference between who the person is that you choose and what you believe the potential of the person is.
And very often that doesn't work out. And as the marriage gets old, I really believe you have to change your attitude to the marriage totally, because circumstance changes. Yeah. I used to think of Bill as the best lover in the whole world. And he was at one point, I guess, Wild Bill Higgins. So excited. I can't wait till what he does next. Living her life. And now I know everything he's going to do next.
you know all his moves.
Yeah, I know everything. But now I think of him as my roommate, my partner, my roommate. Wow. I don't think of him as my lover. And it was hard to let that go. You know, that old image of otherwise, if I didn't let it go, I'd be measuring against it. But I used to be hot and bothered by this guy. I was so crazy. Why don't I feel that anymore?
Wow.
But now I just think he's a great partner and he's a great roommate. And he's a lovely man. He's a great dad. So I've adjusted my expectations. So I'm not measuring up against what it was. And that helps me
So
in the
are you
relationship.
saying that you let go of the romantic side of marriage?
Yes.
Really?
Well, not totally. I
Yeah.
mean, what I did, which was very important when I moved 2 times ago, like 15 years ago or so, I decided I was going to have my own bedroom, period. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Really?
When I had my own room, it was wonderful because I could invite Bill in. And if he wasn't wanted, I told him, no, thank you. Just close the door quietly on his face. But having your own room, you can control the romance, how much you want of it. And as I get older, I want a lot less.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Was it weird? Did you have to adjust to that? Because even sometimes you make a decision that feels right for you, but because society or what it looks like to other people, sometimes we will second guess a decision like that, even though it feels comfortable for you.
Well, of course, even my children.
Yeah.
I had to explain why mommy and daddy had a separate room. When my friends come in, oh, you have your own room? I think it's half envy.
Yeah.
But yeah, society will judge you a certain way, like, oh, I bet they're never having sex, which isn't true. But we're just having it by invitation, which is more occasional than it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, you do feel that pressure from society, but I don't really care so much. I really want to have my own space, my own room.
I think we should all aspire to live a life that is true to what serves us.
Yes.
And not what is
Oh, that would be
expected
horrible.
or, yeah. And I think that's, like you said, that's where people go wrong, trying to fit into a box that
Oh,
doesn't work for
God,
you.
Absolutely. Ever
Yeah.
wear shoes that are too tight? It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
it's the same
part.
kind of thing.
Yeah, I get that. Would you do that in other areas? I would imagine even in business, right? Like just non-traditional thinking and
Sure, because you
figuring
know,
out.
I realized years ago that nobody's really watching and nobody really gives a damn what you're doing. So you might as well do what you want to do. And so I would always just follow my gut as to what felt right for me. And even the naysayers, which were saying terrible things at first, in the end, they were my best cheerleaders saying how smart I was. So they forgot, so
Yeah.
I think you have to stay true entirely to who you are.
Was there a moment when you learned that? Or did you not? Did
Yes.
you always operate that
I
way?
remember that moment. And
Yeah.
it doesn't sound very fancy or anything, but it was just hit me in a weird way. I was at the Real Estate Board of New York, which was where all the power players were.
Yeah.
And I was competing with all the old boy network. And they were powerful. They owned the market. They had tons of money, sons of guys with money. And I was the only girl. And I noticed that nobody was making eye contact with me. And that was a day I just said to myself, I'll get even. I'm going to be the queen of New York real estate. It was crystallized in my mind right then and there. I'm going to be the queen of real estate. I'm going to be a number one rival. I'm going to put you to bed. I just got a bone in my back,
Yeah.
because it was insulting that they were making eye contact with you. It's funny that I should be so offended over something like that, but I really was.
You
Yeah.
should be offended. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, it seemed like I was a little sensitive.
At the time. And,
Yeah.
and good for you.
Yeah.
We should be sensitive about that. But that's still kind of like, that's a drive based on people who don't believe in you. But I just think the thing of like doing things in your own terms, like how you say in your home well, I'm sure you've had to do that in business too, where everybody says this is the right way to do it.
I succeeded because I did things my own way. Everything I succeeded in and pushed myself ahead was outside the norm, thank God. And the old boys weren't doing it. And for that, they thought I was crazy and they weren't even watching me until it was too late to watch me or stop me, But no, I did everything opposite to the marketplace because I found that for my sense of what's common sense, it seemed right. And I would at least have the confidence to follow my instinct and go down the path. And not everything worked out, but a lot worked out. You just need a few things to work out.
This
Sirens
city.
in New York.
Nothing
I
you
love
could-
New York. Don't criticize it.
No, I love New York. It's fine, except when you're trying to tape a podcast and
Yeah.
your guest is saying something amazing. And
It's a little flavor.
yeah, thank you. Lets people know where we are. We are in New York City. Okay, there was the thing about relationships too. What about not so much maintaining a relationship with finances, but partnering, actually going into business with someone that you are in a relationship with, whether it's a spouse or a whatever, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. People do that. They have an idea. They're living together. They're like, let's do this business together.
I think it can work, honestly.
You do?
It worked with my partner, Ramon Simone, because we were total opposites in every way. And so he had his lanes, I had my lanes, and we respected the lines in between. I have in Shark Tank probably invested over maybe 150 partnerships.
Like of relationships? People who are in...
No,
oh,
no,
you mean,
probably, honestly, the ones that are already in relationships, less have worked out. There's more fallout, I would say,
That's
overall.
what I wonder.
I'd have to think about that, but I think so. But I think it can work very well. I have businesses that are owned by 4 female cousins and they're working it together. I have businesses owned by brothers, wives and husbands, many of them. Some of them don't work out when the marriage goes on the rocks.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
I've seen that a few times.
I have too.
And I also know a lot of women, they're successful, they're smart, badass. Clearly they're going to figure whatever it is they're trying to figure out, they're going to figure it out. And then they have a partner and they enjoy, it's almost like they enjoy working with their husband or their spouse.
Sharing
and
everything.
So you want to share everything. Usually, so you have an idea, then you say, hey, let's do this together. Then the marriage doesn't work out.
Yes.
And
well, the girlfriend comes in.
Now this person that you thought, let me pull you in on this. I've seen this a few times.
Yes.
And then the woman is dealing with lawyers trying to get her company back or buy her company back.
I think women are vulnerable to that.
Yes.
Just starting out on their own, pulling a partnership in, and then the partner not being nearly as strong, but they think they're strong because they're in love with them. And then it goes awry. I've seen that so many times, and never do they have a postnuptial or prenuptial. And it's a disaster, because they lose half the equity. I just have a sister who just came through this, very capable. Her partner wasn't at all. He was pulled in, and she had to buy him out at great expense when the partnership ended, or the marriage ended, I should say. I think that's very common. But some, though, do work out very well. You have it's, in a way, you almost have a leg up. You have an additional strength because you're married. You're really together in every single way. So when the partnership is good, it works out well. But I think I've only seen it work out when the partners are opposite. I think what makes all strong partnerships is opposite skill sets. I don't think you could kind of have 2 of the same. It just doesn't, because you get on each other's territory.
Yeah.
I think you always have to be opposite.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
The holiday season is upon us. I know it came so fast, right? So one thing I am working on in my home is trying to make my home feel festive. And also, I have a lot of people over for the holidays, so sometimes that means I need extra chairs and things. And I started thinking about my grandmother. I come from a family where my grandmother would host every year with second cousins, third cousins, and she had a very small home, but she hosted a big party. And everything in the house would be dripping in holiday things. I mean, everything from the toilet had like a Santa Claus on the toilet. The napkins in the house were Christmas napkins. I mean, if there was an inch of her house, it was dripped in holiday. And I don't want to do that, but I do like the idea of recreating that much joy and that much festiveness in my home. And there's so many things at Wayfair that you can get for that, and they don't have to be like the Santa Claus on the toilet. Whether it's candles or tablecloths or just extra seating, because I do have extra people come in the house. Folding chairs, you can get great folding chairs at Wayfair. And the good thing too is you can order that stuff and it comes right to your house without having to pay for delivery, which is super helpful. Or out lugging it, having to run to the store and get all that stuff and pack it in the car and then pack it out. No, who wants to deal with that? So for the holidays, really, it is a great, it is my go-to place for just like zhuzhing up the house to feel festive around the holiday season. And also setting up to host, to invite people over, and more people than are normally in my house, and to accommodate for that, which usually means extra chairs. Maybe you wanted to get some new, plates or tableware. And of course, Wayfair has all that great stuff and all the things to make you feel really festive. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time with Wayfair over the next month, getting my home ready for there. So you can take advantage of some of these Wayfair deals that are going on right now. Don't miss out on the early Black Friday deals. Those are happening and they're big. Head to wayfair.com now to shop Wayfair Black Friday deals for up to 70% off. That's Wayfair, WAYFAIR.com. And the sale ends December 7th. Are there rules to that? Do you have any kind of theories about, and I'm talking more in a romantic relationship.
Not rules, because when I was in one myself, I had no rules. But what was important for it to survive is everybody understood what their roles were. That's, if you want to call that a rule, you can.
Yeah.
But that's about as far as it went. You know, a lot is settled in bed when you have differences.
That's always a good time.
Yeah, that's
when
good.
everybody's very vulnerable. Yeah, easygoing. Nobody's combative.
You're forgiven.
I love you so much.
Yeah,
yeah, that's
you're
great.
so handsome.
Yeah, it's a perfect time. Perfect time. But I do think that is because like you said, women want to. You see the best in the person. You want to keep them close, and I've seen that many times.
Too much.
Very, very tricky, Barbara. Okay. What about age and business? I always am inspired by women because I'm in my 50s. So I when I see stories of women who first, Martha Stewart, making her company at 50 years old, or
was she 50?
She was 50.
I didn't know that.
She was already
Wow.
Martha Stewart in terms of creating things and events and doing, but her actual Martha Stewart living
empire.
Wow.
Wow.
She was 50.
I didn't realize that.
When she launched that. And so
you have to give her twice the credit, I think.
At least, right? Why do you say that though?
I say that because when you're young, I know who I was at 23. I had endless energy. I could run an 18-hour day after day, and not feel it. When I was 50, you felt the hours very much. Your body changes.
Yeah.
So I think I don't think age has a thing to do with it, but I think if you have the enthusiasm and the drive and the energy to pursue what you want to pursue, it's the same as when you're 23. But I don't know if I expressed that well.
No, I get it.
I probably
physically,
got it
because
there.
you still have the capacity.
You have the capacity, yes.
But your energy might be. I don't know.
When you're older, your energy is less, but you're also smarter. You know where to put your energy. At 50, I was a phenomenal delegator. I could pick talent out from anywhere, recruit people from anywhere, and get them to work for me because I knew they had a certain talent. I just had an instinct on it. I didn't have an instinct when I was 23.
You want to do it all yourself, probably.
Always. I always did it better than anyone else. Every job, I always thought I could do better, until I realized one day 80% was good enough. And when I realized 80% was good enough, my business grew like crazy, because I would choose people and say, well, 80% is good enough. 80% is good enough. Lower my expectation. And that's pretty good, 80%. Yeah, that really grew my business.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about something that I've always been told that I'm starting to second guess, and it's that as I was, starting in this business, I was always told to own you have to own your own this and be your own boss and invest in yourself. And those lessons are probably still true, but I made a lot of mistakes using my money on creative ideas I had. I'll shoot it myself because I don't want anybody telling me what to do. Or even when we launched this pod, I paid for the pod myself because I didn't want anybody having too many opinions about.
I would have felt the same way.
You would have felt the same way? You make mistakes and then it's your money, or you pay for.
But you make less mistakes. I can't tell you how many partners I've invested in on Shark Tank who think nothing of losing money when it's my money. When it's their own money, they think long and hard about each decision they make. I think it's great to have your own money invested. I would agree with your old wisdom.
No, I still have it. I just think I've made also when it's your money, when your guest cancels last minute and you've hired the crew and you've hired the space and you've had so that
you find a way.
You find a way. But when you lose the money, it's your money.
Yes, that helps you find the way.
You don't think it's good business to say use other people's money to?
I don't think so.
Really?
I had many opportunities. Well, why would I say that? I used someone else's money to start the business, so I'm not really truthful.
Yeah.
But other than that, starting the business, the seed capital, and even then, I don't think if you can possibly avoid using somebody else's money and use your own instead, it's better. I'm telling you, I knew where every dime was going. I knew when I was running short by 5 cents. I knew everything because it was my own money invested, and I put it back into them. If I had investor money, I see many of my partners just throwing away my money carelessly. It kills me. I've decided to invest in them, but you're really going to spend the money on that?
Yeah.
But it's my money. It's easy money to spend.
Yes.
On PR, on everything that's peripheral to a business, not essential.
That must piss you off.
It does, but I've learned to be quiet.
Why? It's your money.
Because I want to build up the entrepreneur's confidence, and criticism doesn't do anything to help with that.
What about your discipline? I would imagine this career that you've had and this run that you've had, there's certain disciplines that you have to have as a businesswoman.
You're looking at the most disciplined person you've ever met.
Really?
Definitely.
Tell me how.
First of all, I learned it from my mother. She had 10 kids and she had a system for everything. She was the model of efficiency. So if I see something happen and I see it happen a second time, I create a system immediately. If I see somebody do this and they do a good job, I make it their job. I move on it right away and I create it so it repeats itself. With myself and my own discipline, I don't care if I'm dying, I'm going to work if I promise I'd be there. And I think that's important, that your word be your total bond that anybody would trust ever in anything, because you are that way. So with me, everything I do has discipline, from where I work out, what I work out, what I eat. I eat all this shit all the time. So
Good for you.
I'm surprised I'm alive, actually, with what I eat.
Dude, really? You look so great. I'm so surprised.
I'm lucky. I have a good body. Believe me, it's just pot luck. But I work really hard too. I work 5 days a week to keep it trim.
You work out every day?
Yeah, I do. Well, not Saturday, Sunday.
5 days a week. Yeah. Do you have like a morning routine? I know morning routines for successful people are.
I don't. I know I feel like a failure saying I don't. But
really?
I like to stay in bed as long as I could until that alarm rings at 6 o'clock, and then I'm up instantly. I always give myself 1, 2, 3 and hop out of bed. I won't just lay there beyond that time.
But you're up at 6.
Yeah, always.
Every
I naturally wake up even without alarm because I've been doing it so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're working all day?
Yes. Oh, I'll work till midnight if I have to. Whatever.
Still now every day?
Yeah.
You're still working that hard?
Just to accomplish what I want to accomplish. If I have a goal set in my head, I'm not going to give up really in the day until I've worked enough at it, It's sick. I've been seeing a psychologist. I'm trying to come off that as I get older because I'm in my 70s now.
When are you gonna act
relax
on that? Yeah,
that's what she says. When are you going to relax?
What is the plan?
Well, my mom always said when she's dead, which I agree with, kind of.
That's when you rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there is, and it's so corny to even this question. I hate this question. People ask me, "Is this about the balance of life?" And
do you believe in that?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's always changing. I think what I need for myself today is different than what I need for myself next month. And so if I'm in an ambitious season of something I'm trying to launch, then it's all work.
Yep, exactly.
But if I miss my kid or I'm feeling sad for whatever reason and I have to pour into myself a little bit, then I go sit down I try to just go. I don't think there's a everyday balance of.
I don't either. And what you do sounds very healthy to my ears, really. Yeah. What I do, the only thing that helps me, well, I wouldn't even call it balance, but it helps me with priorities, I guess you'd say, is I put boxes. Like when I'm at home, I never take business calls. I try my best not to think about business. I want to be with my kids. I wanted to raise my kids. I want to be a great mom. When I'm at work, my kids wouldn't dare call me at work. My husband used to call and pretend
they wouldn't dare call you?
They wouldn't dare, unless they were dying, and they never died. So
thank God.
Thank God. But my husband would call me at work after a while in desperation, wants to talk to me. It was terrible. And he would pretend he was from the New York Times and disguise his voice with my secretary so he could get through to me. I mean, ridiculous. But that's how ironclad my system was. Don't bother calling me because I'm hyper-focused at work and I'm hyper-focused at home. But I wouldn't call that balance, but at least it's a separation.
Separate, compartmentalizing.
That's as far as I've gone.
That's actually pretty good. That works. That's your system of balance.
It works for me. Or the best.
Yeah, you're still getting actually the best of both worlds because you're committed to being in the space that you're in.
But where I'm really in balance, I think I'm trying to get better as I get older, is I've always treasured fun and good times and friends and family above all else, above my work every time. But when I actually look at how much time I spend on my work and how much time I spend on my family and friends and having fun, it's probably 8-2 maybe. And that's not healthy. I should really be at least 50-50, and that's what I'm working on now.
Just do it.
Well, just do it, but I have to let go of some of my business goals, which would be a problem.
What are your business goals?
I don't have any, but I'm still working hard at them.
What are you chasing, Barbara? What is the moment when you go,
more success.
I've done enough.
More success, more notoriety. Helping more people, influencing more people. I get tremendous satisfaction out of getting little notes and texts and emails saying, "Oh, you helped me so much. I never thought of this, and you changed my life." I'm sure it's exaggerated, but that makes me feel like my life is worthwhile.
Oh, I love that.
I don't want to give that up.
No.
You know?
Actually, speaking of that, we have a voice note, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
Somebody left a message for you. I think her name was Kelly. Is that what we had? It's a little segment we did called Voice Notes, and people send us voice notes in for our guests. Yeah. Thanks to our friends at Boost Mobile for our voice. You know, we got our sponsors. Our Boost Mobile voice
Thankfully,
note.
you have your sponsors.
I love my sponsors, especially
They're
Boost
perfect.
Mobile and our voice note segment.
Hi, Barbara. My name is Kelly. We met a few years ago when my husband and I were trying to buy our first home, and you gave me some really great advice on how to make our offer sexier by offering a mortgage contingency and a scaling offer. And I'm here to say that your advice helped us get our dream home, and we couldn't be happier. It changed our life, and we are so appreciative of you.
Oh,
God, that sounds sincere, doesn't it? That's
come
what I live
on.
for. That's what I live for, to
so
hear that.
nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, yes, those are the moments, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Those are the moments. That probably happens all the time
All
to
the
you.
time. And I'm happy to give real estate advice, but what more do I like than giving life advice? People who are stuck. When people who are stuck and they can't see the other mountain ahead of them, I love opening their eyes. Because it's the truth. I just speak the truth and they hear it. And they start to look at the mountain on the other side. You know, I just feel like it can make people change, get them off their stuck spot.
And that gives you like joy. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. So I think this era of yours is more media than
It's entirely media, yes.
even real estate or business or
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Well,
it's still
not
business.
really. I'm still very serious about real estate, I must say.
Yeah.
I buy very smartly. I use other people to locate my properties. I readily make partners of people who have no experience but know the neighborhood. I make them my partner because I know I have a set of eyes and ears and toes on the ground that really know what's good, more than a broker selling you stuff, you know. I just say, find me the best property that you have in your neighborhood, and I'll give you 10% of the deal.
Wow.
And you'll stay my partner
That's not
forever.
the normal
and we'll
rate, I
appreciate-
imagine.
What?
10% is a normal rate or
No, it's my own little cooked up thing. 10% I give them. And then when I sell the property 10 years later, 20, 30 years later, it's worth so much more because it's the right property that was built. Now, what I have found is that I have the money and these people that I make my partners, they have the talent. And they also have the time. I can't go and scout that neighborhood and find out the best possible property. And then I also get the added benefit of getting someone started in business. They're in business now. They're a partner, Barbara Corcoran. Wow. And they go out and look for other properties and they make sure whatever they buy, because they're going to be in it with me, is the right property. So I can have total trust and delegation.
How do you identify talent? Like, are there things in people that you see?
Instinct. I look for certain traits, of course. I look for energy. I've never met anyone without energy who was successful. I don't know if you have. If there's no energy, there's no success.
No, and unless you happen to have some God-given musical talent.
Well, that's a little different, or technology.
But even
nut,
then,
and
without energy, it will only
You
go
won't take
so
it.
far, and you won't take it as far as you can, for
yes. So energy is very important.
sure. Yeah.
I also think what's so important, and it's hard to evaluate, but you can really sniff it out if you talk to people enough. If somebody's been a loser or he's had to come through hardship, how well did he bounce up? I love to have people who know how to bounce up. You know, they're not just going to lay low and wait. They're going to just get back up. Because if you have that trait, you're going to be successful, period. You're just going to be successful. So I'm always looking for that. But so far as identifying the talent that I need for what task I want to get done, I really know what I'm lacking. And I'll say, well, I'm great at marketing. I'm great at merchandising that apartment, but I'm no good at financing. How will I really finance it? You know, where will I go for that? I look for a partner who knows that part of the equation, and I will make them my partner because they're strong at it. I don't look for somebody like myself in values and like myself in empathy, but not like myself in talent. I just don't need more talent in the marketing, advertising area. You know, I'm so
got
good at that
Yeah,
stuff, you
yeah.
know?
What about people who are, and you probably come across this all the time when you did it on the Shark Tank, but you know, there's so many people sitting at home probably watching this, looking at our conversation right now, and have some idea that that they believe in, and for some reason they haven't started it. And how do you, maybe even doubting themselves? And I know it probably goes back to instinct, like you said, but how do you know? Where do you even begin to know if your crazy little idea is a good one? We have, me and Brittany who work together, we're always like, this would be a good idea. And then, you know, you start and then you have I have too many ideas. How do I know of my 10 ideas, which is the idea that I should put all my my bread in the basket.
I think what you have to do with an idea is, number one, get it started right away. Don't be second guessing and analyzing and having a business plan, because they don't work once you get to the street. So just get it off the ground. Assuming you get it off the ground, you have to take it to the street and see how people respond to it. I have had more people who thought it was a great idea to have a ridiculous product. They took it to the street and said, would you pay for this? How much would you pay? You could survey. And if nobody responds to it, you've got a bum of an idea. You know?
Yeah, don't waste any more time or
most
energy.
ideas are not good. Most ideas, 9
there a
out of 10 are not
percentage?
good.
9 out of
I would think in the businesses I invested in, I would say 1 in 3 are good ideas, and Shark Tank's eliminated most of the bad ideas. So still only 1 in 3 are a good idea.
Wow.
So
Okay, we
what
did
are
this.
those all your old businesses?
These? No, I haven't. I haven't really launched a lot of businesses. We do podcasts.
I'm
we
just
do media.
kidding you,
No,
flipping
no.
the cards
I
like
know,
that.
those are my old businesses. Those are you probably have that many old businesses that
Millions.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I have not millions, but hundreds of businesses. But you know what I do? I think you'd find this interesting.
Okay.
3 months after Shark Tank is on, and everybody's happy because they've been found, they're selling their product, they're incredible. I bring them into my office to squeeze their heads in because they're getting a big head and I could feel it. Okay. So I just ask them, what do you want to accomplish in your business? And they ask me a series of 15, 20 questions that they really want to know for me. And they start writing down my answers on a yellow pad or whatever they brought with them. And I know it's going to fail, because they're taking me on face value like I have the answers. When I get an entrepreneur that comes in and they listen to me, don't take notes, I know they're going to go out and do what they want. And I know I have a winner. And I tell you, it's a tried and true test. 3 months after Shark Tank, I know who my winners and losers are. And you know what I do? I have everybody in a framed picture of all my entrepreneurs around my office. If you ever come, you see all these happy faces before the 3 months hits. And then you see 2/3 of them turned upside down on my wall, because I realized
Turn them upside down.
on that first meeting, I go over and I turn them upside down. They took too many notes. They're upside down.
Is that maybe that's a reflection of they don't have their own vision for it? They're
It's
kind
so
of
true,
leaning on
because
it. Yeah.
people who are in their own business like you know you're going to make that call.
Yeah.
You'll seek out advice, sort of,
Yeah.
but it's only half advice. You're going to make the call. And that's the mark of a true entrepreneur. They
Yeah.
make the call.
Yeah. Got to make a call.
Yeah. So I've got a lot of upside down pictures, unfortunately, where I've lost my money.
Have you ever done that where you listen to somebody else early in your
I always listen to someone, but from the very early days, I made up my own mind what I was going to do. No matter how big or powerful the person was, I would listen, wow, enamored, to go home and go, he's full of shit. That doesn't really make any sense. But it didn't make any sense measured against my barometer.
Yeah.
Because I had my own big barometer I measured everything against.
Yeah.
That was kind of like the beginning of self-confidence. You don't see it as that, but it is the beginning of self-confidence.
For sure.
And then it develops from there.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering if you'd ever had a moment of, why did I listen to that person? Or,
Oh, no, I don't think I've ever made that mistake. Even when someone was buying my business, they gave me a great argument why $22 million was the right price for my business. They really did. I listened to them. I said, sure, but I want 66. It's my lucky number. That's it. That makes no logic, but I knew I wanted 66 and I
Yeah.
got it.
I think the fear for people too is missed opportunity, maybe, or like you said, or
Well,
confidence.
it's a lack of belief in themselves. You know, 3 years before I sold my business, Merrill Lynch wanted to buy my business. I was so flattered. I was so happy. They were offering me $2 million for my business. This was right before I sold it. It was a terrible year. I had no sales. I felt, oh my gosh, they want me. They want me. You know, they must be really smart, all these guys that come in for visits and everything. And they changed their mind, or I would have sold my business. I'm embarrassed to admit I would have sold it to them. And there I was a few years later selling it for so much more money. But I really thought I would never get another offer. Like, this was a one-time thing. I didn't have the confidence that I would think I would make it through that trough
Yeah.
and rise back up. I was at a low point in my confidence and I was vulnerable. Thank God they changed their mind.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's, you
Funny,
think you
isn't it?
lost something. You
Yeah.
wind up finding something better.
Oh, very often when you look back, you lost nothing at all. Or you actually think of it as a lucky break.
Yeah.
I've had many instances where I look back and I thank God that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It always works out.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, usually
pray
it works
it
out.
usually works out.
You sound
Okay.
like a mother now.
Yeah, my mother. What is something that you've spent your money on that has changed your life?
I think the first thing I spent money on was I went to Bergdorf Goodman's with my first commission check of $340, and I bought the fanciest coat I could find. I had no right being there. The lady looked at me like I couldn't afford it in my pea coat, But I walked out of there with that fancy coat with fur on it. And why it was so important is I walked out of there as the real estate queen. It changed my mind. And I wore it for 4 years, every day covering up my clothing that nobody ever saw, because I always worked on the street opening apartment doors. And just having the confidence to buy that coat and make myself who I wanted to be became my compass. I don't think I would have done it without the coat, honestly.
How much was the coat?
$330, right up to the $340. I think I went home with a few bucks in my pocket, paying cash for a coat and walking out with a coat on my back, and it smelled new. The collar, it was some kind of a dog fur on the collar, curly, smelled good. I had it also on the cuffs. I could smell it again.
So you're marketing yourself.
I was marketing myself. So anything I've done in my life where I've spent money, which would appear silly, was always on marketing expense in some way. Even when my business was very large, I would spend money on an office I couldn't afford. I would spend money on a partner I couldn't afford to buy, a salesman I couldn't afford to pay. But those are always my best calls. Always. Yeah.
When it's going to move the business forward.
It always moves the business forward.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
And you got to kind of be fearless about that a little.
Well, or reckless.
Both.
Call it what you want.
Or both. What is a guilty pleasure for Barbara Corcoran?
I don't feel guilty about anything.
Really?
Except if I'm overspending. I feel like I'm overspending, like going to the Cayman Islands. That is a guilt. Yeah, that would be a good guilty pleasure. That
Travel?
means you love it, right?
Travel? Or just there?
Well, I travel so much for business, it's lost a little of its allure to sit on a plane again, the Cayman Islands, I would say, would be qualified
That's
as
your place.
Guilty pleasure, yeah.
Do it.
It's close by.
Do it big, Barb. Do it. If these are my real life questions, we have a bowl full of them, but I'm just going to give them to you. I am no longer available for
Negative people. I avoid them by a mile. They really reach into your pocket in the middle of the night and steal your emotional health. They really do. I just think of them as a bad leprechaun kind of, in the middle of the night. Now, I feel any vibe at all on negativity, I steer away from it. And, you can really judge it. Some people, I've interviewed some people where they're positive in every way, but after they leave my office, I feel like I have a little cloud of sadness. I can't describe it. I can't believe what I'm feeling like. Why would I really accuse them of being sad? They acted happy. But happy people leave a little cloud of happiness behind. My friends do. They leave my apartment. I could still feel their presence. I meet somebody on the street who's very happy. I walk down the street feeling happy. Afterwards, they have a residual of happiness. And it's true. I just would avoid negative people. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. They suck you down.
It's just because sometimes people could be in a bad space in their life or be in a moment, but is there a difference? Like, how can you identify a negative?
Everybody has a bad day.
Yeah.
And that you'd say, hey, how are you doing? It will be better tomorrow. That's different. But a negative person looks at life as like the downside. If you make a policy change running a business, they'll tell you everything wrong with it. If you hire a person who has something about their personality that's unagreeable, but everything about them is phenomenal, they'll focus on the negative. They always find the negative. They find the negative. And the worst part about it, especially in a sales organization, I always made my money on sales, especially in a sales organization, they never feel sorry for themselves alone. They run a little pity party and they invite somebody else in, usually
like
a positive
too.
person.
Yeah.
Really, it's just terrible.
Yeah.
You got to get rid of them right away.
Yeah.
Really. Negative people you can't have in your life.
In business and life.
As well, yeah.
For sure. I'm at my best when
I'm playing, really playing with anybody. Yeah. It's the most fun.
When I walk in a room, I want people to feel
happy to see me. I think that's very important. Like I'm adding something. Here comes somebody who will add something to whatever we're doing.
That makes you feel good.
Yeah, it makes me feel good.
Are you an emotional person? Like, do you
Deep inside I am, but no, I would say not.
Yeah,
no.
because sometimes women in business, you got to be tough. You got to be strong. Your skin has got to
I've
be
never
thick.
apologized for being a woman in business. In fact, I never thought of myself as a woman in business. I thought of myself always as a competitor. I measured myself against men I was competing with. I never thought I had a disadvantage. And so far as being a woman in a smaller business in the early days and thinking, how will I ever climb that mountain? I always thought I had a great advantage that nobody was watching me. I could do whatever I wanted. I had freedom. Nobody cared about me. Nobody was watching me. So I never thought I had a disadvantage in the female area at all, or the smallness area. I always saw them as, I saw myself as an equal. Maybe not in accomplishment, but in capability.
But what about in business? Are you emotional in business?
Not at all.
You know?
No, I'm cold as ice, I have to say.
Wow.
I made Martha Stewart look warm.
Stop it.
I really did. In my decision making and my
Wow.
and my judgment of things, I'm hard as a rock. I listen hard and then I decide. And you cannot change me once I decide. Not at all. Yeah.
Do you think that's necessary to have the success that you've had, especially for women?
No, I think there are different styles, but I think there's no room for emotion if you're a woman, especially in business. The minute I had a manager once in a while who would cry over just having a bad day, because we all have bad days, she was marked. I never trusted her with more responsibility again.
Really?
Yeah, I never did. I never forgot, because I thought, you can't cry in business. You just can't cry.
Have you never cried?
Never have. No. I go home and I feel sad and I challenge myself and I wonder what the hell I did wrong and will I make it? And I'll be worried, but it's a little different than crying. Worried is the beginning of what you're going to do about it. Crying is an end. I'm crying. I'm crying over this. Not a good sign.
Find solutions.
Yeah.
Work on the.
Well, with business, it's nothing but a series of problems. You just have to hop over. So crying would not fit in.
What do you think your legacy, as we're wrapping up, what do you hope the span of your career and your media career and the things that you left with people, what do you hope people say about you? And
it's not so much what they say about me, because I really don't care. I'll be dead. What do I care? But what I think I would like people to say about themselves is I'm more capable than I thought I was. I'm much more capable than I thought I was, because I really believe everyone is more capable than they think they are. And I've helped move people off that spot, of course, of being incapable. But I'd like to feel like I influence people, particularly women, that they could accomplish more and be bigger than they ever thought they would be. And it's real, not just like a false dream, but real. And if I had any influence on that, which I think I have with a lot of people, I'd feel really good about my life. It's funny. It's exactly what my mother did with us. She made us all think we were great. I'd hope to do that again, my own way.
I think you've done pretty well with your
I hope so. I'm trying hard.
I'm ready to start my business. Leave our listeners or viewers, everybody who's sitting home who has a thing.
What's the one thing? Get it going.
Yeah.
Get it going. I mean, 9 out of 10 ideas never make it because they never get started. You're getting it all right. Harvard Business School teaches you need a plan. I mean, such nonsense. Just get it going.
Go.
And then you discover what the issues are when you get out in the street. You just know what you got to do, bob and weave.
And no
but
crying.
Just get it going. You don't have to prepare it so much.
And no crying.
Yeah. No crying.
You're amazing. Thank you for today.
Thank you very much.
Barbara Corcoran, everybody.
I'll clap for that. I'll clap for you.
I'll clap for you.
You're so easy to talk to. I knew you would because I watch your interviews.
You do things.
Yeah. You really bring out the truth in people.
Thanks.
This is Barbara Corcoran in real life.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and check out all of the other episodes we have on Angie Martinez IRL podcast.